So, how has everyone's day been? Everyone, fill me out on your day. Fill the
इसमें
audience out
जान
on your
नहीं है
day,
ना
Amrit.
इसलिए कोई नहीं सुनता. ये शुरुआत ऐसे करते हैं ना, ऐसे इसकी मरी हुई हालत में कि जैसे इसको होमवर्क के लिए कर रहा है. आकाश
और
जान
प्लस
दिखा.
हमारे डे को एक्साइटिंग नहीं होने वाले. अपन नॉर्मल लोग हैं जो ऑफिस जाते हैं, घर पे आते हैं, खाना खाते
Exactly.
हैं, सो जाते हैं.
Yeah.
हम क्या
Very much.
बोलेंगे?
I'm actually very tired. But thankfully आज तो Sunday and I'm still tired. काम था नहीं, I'm still tired. So I feel old, Akash, to answer your question.
अमृत, योर फैमिली मैन, घर पे भी काम होते हैं. डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट वो सारे
Yeah,
काम.
but that is not counted. You can't go and tell people कि पता है आज मुझे घर
I
के लिए
can
क्या.
never picture Amrit cleaning because I've never seen him do any cleaning in
I don't
university.
think he does that.
भाई 8 साल बाद ना आकाश बहुत चीजें बदल चुकी है.
I'm
तेरा
sure,
नंबर भी
but
आएगा.
I never.
तू
Yeah,
तू भूल रहे 6-7 साल हो चुके उन दिनों से तो
exactly. Because
बहुत चीजें बदल चुकी है.
But you were doing cleaning today.
घर का
I was
काम,
I
not
was not
cleaning,
doing
but
directly, but भाई you want it or not, once you're once you're an adult, essentially you have to help around the house in one way or the other. और अगर तुम्हें घर
Hey,
के
I've
अंदर
been
काम नहीं
cleaning
दिए
since college days.
if
If you
तुम्हें
guys remember.
नहीं इसलिए तो
You're
विला
just
बैठा
cleaning your own
तू
body.
फिर
That's it.
yeah, Kevin, I was going to say half the time
No,
throughout
I used to
college
do
you were in the
Yeah.
shower. I feel half your life throughout college you were in
हाँ
the
और
shower.
रात को 10 बजे के बाद बेस गिटार खेलेगा या सुबह 6 बजे बेस गिटार खेलेगा. वो पिंक फ्लॉयड के गाने चल रहे होंगे. लाइक दैट विल कंडीशन लाइक हम कि मी एंड केविन हमारा लाइक रूम का वॉल स्पेशली शेड हुआ करता था.
Oh yeah, I remember.
देयर आर लिटरली मोमेंट्स लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ मेरे लाइक जब अजीब से अपने दोस्तों के बारे में होते हैं लाइक अर्नव को टर्मिनल इलनेस थी. आकाश का आई कांट से ऑन रिकॉर्ड बट केविन का था लाइक
He was.
Kevin dictated so many of my वो because पीछे what you think सपना था was actually room is vibrating with the bass. बुर उसकी बुर सुबह सुबह उठाती थी. And like for some reason he was practicing with कौन से some haunted tracks. Pink Floyd का something. High Hopes you used to play or what? I don't know what it was.
I
No, but-
hope.
But weekend पे he had audience, right? So
Crazy
he had to
Diamond.
play for them. So he had to practice it during
I
weekdays.
was in like a Pink Floyd zone. I feel like I kept, even though I was not high or anything, nothing like that. I just
Okay,
like,
Kevin.
felt like
Yeah,
Pink
Kevin.
Floyd.
Thanks for clarifying
Okay.
because that literally felt like you said you were on cannabis throughout.
No, but you were high on something. But it's that's
Life. Kevin was high on life.
Yeah, he was high on life that
Fuck off,
time.
Atma.
I say, Amrit,
Screw you.
Before we get into making fun of Kevin, as usual, Amrit always picks this topic. Amrit, stop making fun of Kevin.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so mean.
Compliment कर रहा था
Such
उसको.
bullies you.
Bully. Let's get on with this episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Vele podcast. Today, we have a lot of light topics to talk about after our serious episode. So, hopefully it will be a much more enjoyable episode, even though the last one was pretty
Informative, Akash.
find it. Yeah, hopefully you find it.
Informative for us, I think.
Yeah,
more
more so for us than other people.
No,
But let's-
definitely. Let us clarify. We haven't taught anyone anything. We were just refreshing whatever
100%.
knowledge we found.
Exactly. But let's get on with the topics for today. The first topic we're going to start with is basically with cinemas slowly opening around the world. Do you think this marks the end for the cinema hall experience? Or will things go back to exactly how they were regarding the entertainment field?
Slightly confused. If cinemas are opening up, how does it mark the end of the cinema? मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. I mean,
Do you think
what are they
basically,
trying
do you
to
think people will go to cinemas when they're open?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
way.
whole idea.
I think पहला सवाल ये होगा कि तुम में से कोई अभी तक थिएटर गया है?
Nope, cinemas are
No.
open in here, but I have not stepped into a theater.
I feel it's
I've-
still not safe.
I went जनवरी में कुछ 16 या 17 तारीख को तलपति विजय की मास्टर
You went this month.
के लिए.
It's still
Yeah, this
January.
month.
You went this month. Okay.
Yeah, तो 2 हफ्ते पहले the seating was when I asked this question I had not मैंने क्योंकि ये हमारे उस common folder में डाला था I think काफी पहले but
Even
when
I
asked
put the
this
same question down, by the way, in that folder. It's down.
क्या था तो जब मैंने सवाल पूछा था मुझे उम्मीद नहीं थी कि ज्यादा लोग आएंगे. I have been completely proven wrong. क्योंकि थिएटर में 50% सीटिंग सब तो है बट देयर इज नॉट वन सिंगल हॉल दैट इज लेफ्ट लाइक जिसमें रिजर्वेशंस हुआ है लाइक द टिकट्स रिलीज हुई थी 14 या 15 को साउथ में. मुझे नॉर्थ में तो काफी पिछले महीने कुछ महीने से चल रहे हैं थिएटर. साउथ में अभी थिएटर में मान लो 17 को अगर शो था, 14 या 15 से बुक माई शो वगैरह के एप्स पे यू कुड नॉट गेट टिकट्स फॉर द नेक्स्ट 4-5 days. और थिएटर पे भयंकर तरीके से क्राउड्स थे.
Is that
एंड
because it was a Vijay movie?
not just a Vijay movie, bhai. Because first I thought that कि like कि very popular actor की movie है तो है. But the staff से अगर तुम अगले हफ्ते का पूछो यार, अगले और every movies people are just coming to just watch a movie. They're just
Yeah,
tired of the fact कि घर के अंदर फंसे थे. And I expected the opposite कि like paranoia होगा एक हद तक. But that clearly shows कि हमें masses का frustration का कोई
But
idea
you're
है
do you
in
नहीं.
like
India
the
may
movie?
not. Yeah.
Bhai, and okay, a very small one sentence master review. Master has Vijay Sethupathi as the villain. Vijay Sethupathi is amazing in whatever role he does. He's the guy who's in Super Deluxe on Netflix. अगर किसी को देखनी है, but that guy was amazing, and plays the villain in this in a proper mass movie, and he does it really well.
Who does he play in Super Deluxe?
The
I
bhai,
just
the
don't like the
guy
action
gender
action
change होता है ना.
scenes. It's like
Oh,
way
okay.
too much. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like way too overboard, I feel.
But by the way, in India, government has allowed full occupancy of theaters starting Feb 1st.
Which is
Fair
very
person,
weird.
ना, but,
Yes,
but,
it's
but that's the thing.
herd immunity.
Hurt me.
इंडिया में वैक्सीन की जरूरत नहीं है अब.
That's it.
So
But
maybe
I
because
feel
I'm just saying that like so my
India.
answer to that question, Akash, would be that the question itself is wrong now
I
because
I
clearly
think
the people
See,
have
I feel like
responded.
India is a
I
different
feel
scenario. I don't think in America, at least, I don't know if you haven't been for so long in America.
I feel a lot
Or
of
like
movies
whenever
will
you go.
start releasing online now. Like, okay, the action movies and like the major actors involved and stuff, they'll probably still release in theaters. I think a lot of movies will start releasing online because they've realized that the safe, the safe release. I mean, online releases are much more safer from a business standpoint as well. So I think a lot of movies will start. A lot more movies will start releasing online, uh, 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 like now because of the COVID era. Because during COVID era, a lot of movies was
No,
forced to release it online.
for
So
sure. I
now I
mean,
think that'll become a norm.
Warner Brothers is releasing their whole slate online now. So like this King Kong versus Godzilla online, all future
Theater में
DC
नहीं आएगी
movies
No,
online.
theater
It's
में भी
going to be
आएगी.
theater as well, but it's also going to be available online.
because weirdly Master is already on Prime Video right now. By the way,
Hmm.
like 2 हफ्ते के अंदर I saw this
So
movie
they
released
must be going
January
the
में.
same
So
route
and it's all
that way.
apparently it's already on Prime Video in India
But
at least.
the
So
problem with the Warner Brothers thing is their streaming service is only available in America. So what this leads to do
Doesn't make
makes
sense.
it doesn't make sense because what your people are going to pirate the shit out of those movies that they're
No,
releasing.
but
Do you
It's
think?
already been done.
eventually they will release globally, but
No,
they
it's
need
released
time
in
to.
cinemas globally, but like HBO, their
No, I'm talking about
their
the
streaming service, yeah.
streaming
But I
service
think
itself.
that'll take still some time. But they have to
Yeah.
combat the piracy in some way because that all those movies are going to get pirated like hell for them, and they're going
Yeah,
to lose
if you
out on
don't
a
give
lot of
people the
revenue.
option, that's.
Yeah, it's a
I
bit
mean,
ridiculous.
piracy is the way
But
to
But
go then for them.
आई डोंट थिंक सिनेमाज आर गोइंग आउट, क्योंकि पहले मुझे लगा कि यार सिनेमाज में अब मे बी शायद लोग नहीं जाएंगे, बट देयर इज अ वन ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी विच इज नॉट गोइंग एनी टाइम एनीवेयर, राइट, ऑफ इन टर्म्स ऑफ एंटरटेनमेंट एंड सोशलाइजिंग, राइट. सो सिनेमाज या मूवी देखने जाते हैं लोग, but there's a whole elaborate plan when people are going for a movie, right? It's not about, yeah, movies obviously a critical piece of it, but uske alawa they might be going afterwards for lunch, dinner, they might be going out with friends. So I think it's a whole plan which they have usually, right? So and the same question applies to malls, कि अब लोग ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग करेंगे या लोग मॉल में जाएंगे क्या, फॉर एग्जांपल. एटलीस्ट इन यूएस आई हैव सीन malls are getting packed now. Yeah, still not to the same capacity, but people are going to malls like normal, nothing has happened यहाँ पे. So same thing I think in a way slightly similar applies to movie as well. Eventually I think theaters will come back. Sure, if it's 100% उनका जितना business था or not, that has to be seen. I think that only time will tell. But I don't think movies are going anywhere. Like in terms of cinemas, they are going anywhere because it's a event
and I think people have missed it even more due to the lockdown. Like
due to
definitely.
lockdown.
the a lot of the like I personally I should not speak for anyone else. I should speak about a personal experience in a language that I'm not even familiar with. Just the grandeur of sitting there and soaking in all of whatever scenes that normally overly critical होंगे हम कि like my god this defies the laws of physics इस हर बात पे dance हो रहा है and everything, like the entertainment seemed like it was actually very enjoyable. I was like अगर मैं घर पे बैठ के देखता and I was distracted or something, I would probably never finish the movie. But
Hmm.
sitting there, like each no every part of it was just like, okay, you're cut off from the world and you
Yeah,
actually
the
appreciate.
experience is something that
You
everyone will
it's
miss. Definitely, everyone will be missing just
I think
and
sitting
people
and
were
watching.
enjoying it. Yeah, people were like
Yeah,
their
I
yeah,
think
families. Like it was a
hundred
movie
percent.
which had like kids and like parents sitting around me, and they were all enjoying it. Like, you could see them cheer. You can see them like join in. कोई fight sequence हो रहा बच्चे डर रहे हैं. Like it's a very different experience.
जैसे अभी जो मूवी आ रही है
I,
Godzilla which you guys mentioned, I don't think I will enjoy it TV पे, no matter how big my
Nope,
TV is.
nope.
It has to be in theater. If I need to enjoy it through
When
effects or
you
CGI,
sent तूने वो ट्रेलर जो भेजा था, I would hate watching any of that in the house.
yeah,
बात ही नहीं आएगी.
feel ही नहीं
A-
आएगा वो.
Anything like if you watch a Marvel movie in the house, it's not the same as probably
At the
going to the
same time,
cinema.
it has
If you watch
empowered the streaming platforms
streaming services, yes,
to show the, जैसे अभी मूवी आई थी White Tiger. I don't think वो अगर थिएटर में रिलीज करते it would have been a success as compared to on a streaming
no.
platform. So I
yep.
think it's now it might be a good balance कि all the small budget movies they have a
Indie
platform because
movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
streaming platforms have a huge audience now thanks to COVID.
And not just they, क्योंकि streaming platforms में still local audience is like the backers are supposed like White Tiger को तुम small movie जितना भी बोल सकते हो, it has Priyanka Chopra and Rajkumar Rao in it.
Yeah.
Like but अभी जैसे केरला में एक launch हुआ है a service called Knee Streams, NEE Streams, who are $2 के लिए like you can watch this movie called Great Indian Kitchen. Now this is a regional movie, but this movie
Yeah.
is has two really phenomenal actors, but they're not mainstream actors. They don't have a major
Yep.
producer backing them. But this movie has now been covered by all local regional outlets. So much so मैंने Indian Express की website में national website पे उसका review देखा. And that has only happened because this movie, if it was produced in non-corona times, would never see the light of day.
Yep.
Because they are not star pulling actors, they're very talented actors, but
And
obviously
plus
इनके पीछे वो नहीं है.
the topic discussed is not, it's not like an entertainment movie for sure.
No, like it's
It's
a movie that talks about the plight कि like आप YouTube में या किसी में if you see any cooking shows, if you see any sort of things जिसमें glamorize किया गया kitchen को, the actual life in the kitchen of a woman कैसी होती है, कि kitchen के
Yeah.
जब वो actual तुम raw food देखते हो, गंदा सामान देखते हो, dishes that are smelling, like it's such visuals जो
Yeah.
which probably needs a different audience, and now
and,
people
and
can
the way
directly
the
go
movie
and pay.
and the way the movie is made is like it keeps building up on the plight of the main actress in the movie, and like it keeps rotating and keeps repeating. So like essentially your head, like you're kind of getting annoyed seeing that, like that like detailed scenes of like the situation that she's going through, and like the main point of the story and where she rebels or whatever it is. Sorry, spoiler alert. But I mean, what else do you expect from a movie like this? But yeah, essentially when she does respond to it, that's basically like the last 15 minutes of the movie. Other than that, the like 1 hour 10 minutes of the movie is basically just keeps repeating, and
And a movie like that would
it's
not work.
psychologically it is affecting. Yeah.
A movie like that would not work well in
No.
theaters. Producers would say कि आप ऐसे कैसे चला सकते हैं. So I think the after effects of this is that cinema industry has changed forever. कि alternate cinema now does not even need prominent online platforms, but they can create alternate platforms that people will actually go to. सच्चाई of movies is there have been so many websites which have offered art cinema नाम की movies बहुत सारी, but कोई कभी नाम भी नहीं जानता था except the few 200 people and their friends who started the website. But now something like this, I saw it once. See, for me the biggest sign is once I saw this movie reviewed in a major newspaper like Indian Express वगैरह में, I saw कि इन्होंने review करा है इस movie को, and it's like okay, this clearly that is how I believe cinema has changed spectacularly in the last 1 year.
Do you think a movie like Ludo will run in theater like really?
I think initially, but no, it won't do well. I don't think it
Won't
would
do
have
well.
done well. I think it would initially would run, but then it would get removed from cinemas pretty quickly because that movie, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, even for streaming. it wasn't good.
I mean, I like the movie only for the Pankaj Tripathi scenes. Other than that, the movie's pretty. I wasn't that impressed with it.
But for back on topic, for India, I still think that because the filming industry, and everything is so entertainment industry is so
Yeah,
powerful there, and people are like it's part of the culture now. I feel Bollywood, all the Indian film
yeah.
industry is all
I do
part
not.
of culture.
I
It
do
will
not
never
see a
die down.
Salman Khan.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
will
see a
always the cinema.
Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan movie
Yeah,
being released online. I don't see that
yeah.
happening.
So that I don't think the cinema experience will die down. Maybe in the West, I feel it will not die down, but it will. It's already taken a huge like toll on it. The coronavirus has already taken a huge toll on them. I mean, AMC, which is the theaters, the biggest chain of theaters in America, has been bankrupt and like
Actually,
closing cinemas around the US.
I I'd like to put a positive spin on this, like as in like positive from the sense like the online uh, platforms have actually allowed us to have access to these new movies that we would probably never go and watch in a theater. So that is a very good thing that online
That's what
platforms
Arnav's was
have brought.
point. That's what Arnav's point was. That White Tiger.
Yeah,
Would anyone actually watch that in
absolutely agree.
theater?
Wait, if in a
I don't
vacuum you
think
didn't know,
so.
White Tiger was a Booker Prize winning book
Booker, yeah.
का
On Salman Khan's
adaptation.
Driver.
No, because वो subject वैसा था, right? Oh man.
uh,
But
You
because of
know,
subject, I don't think itni wo chalti in theaters, right? But only
mhm.
thing which COVID has done is online platforms were already there before COVID, long before COVID. It has accelerated the adoption of it. That's it. Other than that,
I
COVID
was,
ने I don't think और कुछ किया है. And Amrit said it's an alternative source है अब लोगों के लिए, which is more widely adopted. That's all.
do you think Salman Khan, like people tweeted to Salman Khan related to this?
Do you really
100%.
think? Do you really think वो replies check करते हैं? Like
He
Kevin,
then
no. Kevin's asking.
eh,
Do
No,
you think
they
people just tweeted at him?
no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying
at him,
him.
yeah,
I'm not saying
Kevin,
everyone
at
else. I'm
him.
saying him specifically. He
Kevin,
He
checks.
won't reply.
तेरे जैसे लोग बहुत सारे हैं. I'm pretty sure people have tweeted mouse को.
Yeah, yeah.
Just for
No, but
viewers, I did get banned from
but
like I was blocked from Salman Khan's Twitter account like about 7-8 years back in college. I tweeted something controversial to him,
There
making
goes
fun
our
wait,
of his
chances of
driving
wait.
having
skills.
Salman Khan on the podcast. By the
Hey,
way,
remember Vinod Kambli? He
he blocked all of
and
us.
that roadies का बंदा also that
Oh,
Kevin के
Kevin,
साथ.
who did you message? That Rodies guy? That was
Oh
the
yeah, this
funniest. Actually,
roadies
that was
guy
the
was
funniest bit.
very annoying.
It was so
So I
funny.
just like
Hey, Landure.
he actually
Kevin,
He said
replied
something
Kevin
like
is
though.
that.
Kevin is one of the people who took roadies. I think either बहुत दिल पे या
Heart.
फिर
Yeah.
seriously.
He
If
messaged the
someone
guy,
mis
hey, Landure. Kya hai?
if
He said
someone
something like that.
misbehave,
It wasn't that I took it seriously. I was like, it was entertaining for me.
Kevin
Like,
insulted the guy.
Kevin, I don't
Never
know why
talked to
we
him.
would message him on Facebook though. No, no,
And he
like I
replied.
agree.
He
Yeah, yeah.
replied. That
he
was the best
replied.
part.
That's the thing. I really thought that account was like fake or something. That's why I wrote a random message to him, and he
Like,
actually replied.
yeah.
So
He replied saying, Kya hai be Landure or something like that.
yeah,
Because Kevin
बेचारा.
insulted him.
yeah, I
अच्छी जोड़ी है दोनों
insulted
की.
him. It was just
It was that guy who used to do all the planning and everything. I remember. I can't remember. Like,
yeah.
he used
See,
to
it's
backstab.
happened so long ago. All I remember
Yeah.
is Kevin
Oh my
abusing
God.
him. मुझे और कुछ याद नहीं है.
That's it, yeah. Kevin काफी
But
लेकिन Kevin को शो पे जाता तो काफी हिट होता Kevin, I think.
100%.
we had an
Roadies
audition tape we made. Remember? If I have to find that, I can't remember where it is.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
I think
the-
I think इसके पास है. अपने
Naman ke was, I think.
यानी अभय के पास है शायद, if I'm not wrong.
One of
Oh,
us have
maybe
it. I
yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah.
We'd
I
have to
don't-
find that and post that somewhere. That was hilarious. But back on the thing, like streaming services have made a shitload of money from this. Netflix must be happy and angry both at the same time because I think they recorded when the initial lockdowns happened. They recorded 16 million new subscribers to the service. But now that this has happened, you see like Disney is amping up their services. Warner Brothers amping up their services. New services coming around
But that's
everywhere
the thing,
for
na?
streaming.
They will they whatever they lose in the whoever comes first with any new concept will
Yeah.
always have an advantage because however much they lose in the American market, every other country outside of North America or Western world में Netflix will always be the first person who came with something like
Yep.
this. They are a brand name that यार अभी तू देखना ये जो लूडो मूवी में हम बोल रहे हैं कि लो बजट अब इट्स स्टिल पंकज त्रिपाठी एंड अभिषेक बच्चन वगैरह पिक्चर में है यार उसमें. तो इट्स नॉट लाइक कोई छोटे मोटे नाम है जो जो इनके साथ टाई अप कर रहे हैं. प्राइम वीडियो के साथ इस पूरी डॉक्यूमेंट्री निकाली है. सैफ अली खान has made an entire web series that came out 15 दिन पहले.
Abhi,
Like
Varun Dhawan released
Abhishek
his
Bachchan.
Coolie #1 on, which is normally a
Prime.
movie, a cinema experience in India. People will go to cinema definitely to watch this type of movie.
Akash,
Yeah.
don't lie. You will also go.
Pagal nahi hu. But I haven't watched that movie ever.
Even I will go for it.
I watched first 6 minutes of it, then I stopped.
Yeah. But my thing is that I have to hats off to Netflix for keeping themselves relevant, because before they used to just survive off every other film house's productions and just stream it on their website. But the amount of new content they're putting out, like shitloads of Netflix versions, which they have to be relevant.
I mean, they had the head start, right? Because
Yeah,
they
they
were
had
one
the
of the
head start.
first ones.
That
But
they
now,
use
like,
that
they're
concept.
investing so much on new
They use that
content.
concept and have like just flipped it around into that. That's the thing. लोग कहते हैं, oh अब Netflix में तुम ये नहीं देख सकते. But you are still going there to check their original content. Like अभी Vince McMahon वाली documentary का deal उन्होंने sign किया है. Like
So where they're
Netflix ने 2 महीने
going
पहले.
after.
Talking about new content, check out Spycraft whenever you get a chance on Netflix. It's amazing.
Kevin मैंने 15
on my-
मिनट
Not
देखी मुझे
amazing, it's
नींद
pretty
आ गई. I
interesting.
fell asleep. क्या बकवास
I've
था यार
heard
वो.
Night
What-
Stalker is
क्या
very
घटिया-
good.
Oh, Night Stalker is actually good.
Night
Don't
Stalker
watch
is
the
also
show.
very good.
Don't watch the show Kevin said, by the way. Just watch Night Stalker instead. It's very creepy.
I've been watching
Spycraft is interesting.
Cobra Kai. It's damn good.
Akash,
on Netflix.
Seriously, तू Karate Kid का rip-off show देख रहा है?
It's actually very good, Amrit. I didn't expect shit from it, but it
I
actually
think you
turned
guys
out
are
to be
drifting
good.
away from the topic.
But yeah, anyway. So
So
let's
topic
go.
था क्या यार?
Yeah, there
This
was
not
no very
supposed-
big topic.
This was not
anyway.
supposed to be a topic. फोकट के 20 मिनट से लपेट रहे हैं हम.
Okay.
लोग
Since we
people will
mentioned
go to theater. Akash, our conclusion is what? People will go to theaters.
people will go
Bah,
if they want to
shabash.
go. But I
Yes.
still do not think in America, I think it will die down a lot and then come
अच्छा.
back much later on.
ये
The
ये जो
same in
hand है,
relevancy.
ये केविन हैंड
India
वाला
में तो
जेस्चर कर
stay.
रहा है ना, मतलब टॉपिक चेंज कर.
So since we mentioned Coolie #1, do you guys think remakes of these classic movies are just a bad option in general to do?
Can you
What
give a
is
few
your opinion?
examples?
Okay, so like there was Judva 2. Oh, I'm going to name all Varun Dhawan movies and David Dhawan movies
Oh,
basically.
God.
So basically,
Judva 2.
When was
we are going
Jadwa
to talk
1
about-
good?
We are going to
Nee,
talk
Judva
about
1
his
I liked,
career.
man, when- at the time.
I don't
Coolie
remember.
#1 in Hollywood, you can say Karate Kid. We mentioned there was a remake with Jaden Smith, and Jackie Chan. There was also another remake I was thinking of. Well, it wasn't a remake, but more of a
Didn't Marvel remake everything?
what
Did
did
they have
Marvel remake?
X-Men remake to 2000?
They haven't remade it.
Oh, okay.
It's I don't know, Spider-Man part of Marvel है या नहीं?
Yeah,
I mean,
Spider-Man has been
Spider-Man,
remade
man.
3 times.
Yeah.
Good thing. Spider-Man has been remade 3 times under
Isn't
different.
Django also renamed? Remake?
Wait, what?
Django Unchained.
Unchained. Yeah.
What's it a remake of?
Yeah, I thought that was the original one, but okay.
Okay, never mind. Oh no, Django is another movie. I just got confused. There was a 1966 movie called Django. Never mind.
I mean, Christmas Carol movies. The Christmas Carol has been remade a number of times. If you think about it, I don't know if Arnav has watched that movie at all, but it's been remade a number of times to make it relevant again.
Like
All these
personally,
movies.
I don't have any. I mean, we don't have to give them the whole list कि कौन सी हुई है. But personally, I don't see anything wrong as long as जो भी original content था, they have the rights to remake that movie. As long as it has followed that proper procedure, it's not like this illegally वो कर लिया है. But if people want to try something, I don't see
For a
any
new
issue.
generation?
Yeah, I don't see any
Yeah.
issues in it. Only
I really
the question
feel-
is
Yeah.
कि कौन सी टाइप की मूवीज रीमेक करनी है. फॉर एग्जांपल if Coolie #1 is it worth remaking or not?
Yeah. Do you guys think it like that's also a part of the question? Was it worth Is it worth remaking something? Like that?
Yes, because end of the day, again, if it's bringing dollars in, why not? I mean, as a businessman, I would do the same thing. As a producer, I would definitely sponsor a movie जहाँ पता है it is going to attract that kind of audience, and India has that kind of audience now. It
And
has always
streaming
been,
में-
yeah.
And Arnav, can you correct us? Streaming में essentially once you click and the movie starts playing, like isn't that all that most of these services want in the first place? Kuli number one
Yep.
has replay value. For me, if you do a remake correct, like I have not seen any of the old Batmans, but before the Dark Knight trilogy began, people did not have either a greatest. I've seen a lot of parody of the old Batman movies, but if
Yeah.
somebody can come and take a concept and make it really good, like the old before this whole Avengers का ये सब शुरू हुआ, like these movies were not क्या कहते हैं, these
Taken
Avengers when
seriously. No.
yeah, these are all very different. Now when they started tying it in together, see it's actually I guess come down to who does it and if they do it well. Because पब्लिक को वही
Yeah.
चाहिए. कूली नंबर वन, मैं पुरानी मूवी के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा क्योंकि वो पुरानी मूवी थी, उसने टाइम के लिए कॉमेडी है. बट दिस मूवी seemed so much like I saw 6 to 7 minutes of it, so I don't have a hardcore review of it.
Amrit's
But
going to
yeah,
give a review. Amrit, review
जो
Coolie number
ये
one
जो
right
ये
now.
जो पहले के जो सीन थे and it was like same thing out of nowhere. वरुण धवन सेम चीज कर रहा है and वरुण धवन again like I like when you like an actor but you don't like what they're doing on screen वाली बात आ जाती है ना. तो it's like यार ये तू कूली नहीं लगता यार, तू कुछ भी बोले तू you're not ये तू पता नहीं क्या
You're
कर रहा
saying
है like
Govinda looked more of a coolie than Varun Dhawan?
no, the acting of it. He seems like the
Okay.
most like Sudhra Wavo, and when he gets angry for the coolies, also like that method acting part of it doesn't come at all. When he tries to play like the simple man role, जो ये करने की कोशिश
I,
कर रहा है, तो वो लग नहीं रहा convince. You're not threatened by him. Like इंडिया का कूली अगर तुम्हें धमकाएगा ना तुम्हें डर जाओगे. When वरुण धवन करता है, it's like कोई सोप का ad चल रहा है, सोप बेच रहा है तुम्हें. Like वो फील ही नहीं आती कि like
I
ये
think
बंदा
only
तुम्हें डराने की
bad
कोशिश कर
part is
रहा है.
I've seen a lot of remakes जिसमें they don't try anything new. Right?
That's was my
what I
point, Arnav. I was going to say.
Yeah,
So, like for
I'm
me,
completely open for remakes
yeah.
as because as Amrit ने अच्छा example Dark Knight, it changed the whole franchise for them, right? So
Mm. But like
what
for
I
me,
f-
the Dawn movie, Dawn Shah Rukh Khan, that remake was in my opinion, a good remake. Because
yeah,
that
that was
twist
one of
at
the
the
better
end,
ones.
the way they twisted that he's alive at the end was actually unexpected and very well done, in my opinion.
उसकी
That
तीसरी
what
पिक्चर
I
नहीं आई
feel
ना.
not yet, no.
Not yet.
what
But
I what I actually hope for remake in remakes is like horror movies. Like 1960s, for example, had like great horror movies that I've seen two. There was a there's a movie called Psycho and
Hmm.
Face Without Eyes, and
wait, Psycho was which
no
one?
eyes,
With
no eyes without a face. Sorry.
Psycho was
So that
huh.
those, I think these are some of the kind of movies. Like today, if I had to watch them again, I would kind of get bored. Like Entity is another one you can think about, which is a 1980s
Yes, we
movie.
didn't.
But
No one
if
got scared in Entity.
but
There
I
is a
think
dark
if it
secret
were to
about
be
entity that these
just
people are
graphics
hiding.
and just graphics and sound and everything, I think if you could record it today, if you
But
could remake those movies today, it would
that
be
didn't
amazing.
work with the Poltergeist. They remade the Poltergeist to current like times, and it was a
Oh yeah, I
big,
heard about
big
that
flop.
movie.
It was very
Big
bad,
flop.
apparently.
But I
So,
think that's horror is a genre. There's a genre which I think has failed terribly at any sort of, because I think we got oversaturated with it, and I think public is also has more knowledge. It's like people who saw a circus in 70s, 80s, 90s, and like they saw these magic tricks. They would probably be more amazed by it. Now it's like magicians have to like go to astronomical lengths to get like oh ha bhai wow out of people. Like those genres में बहुत मुश्किल है. I think it's a thriller crime type of things, like spy mystery which still have a chance, or fantasy, outright fantasy where I'm just inventing the facts. There, like Batman, man, Christopher Nolan is able to take you to that dystopian world where somehow Joker genius की तरह सब कुछ everything plays out exactly as per the Joker's deeds, because he's able to create a world like that.
mm, he
So
grounded that whole universe,
yeah, a
world
remake like
so much.
that makes sense. Like someone is able to make something so good. Like तूने Dawn 2 का example दिया. I found like because Shah Rukh was able to be Shah Rukh, and but also the entire thing was very slick and Dawn like वो जो पुराना mentality था कि Dawn can get away with anything.
हाँ, डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं.
What was that movie जिसमें ऋतिक रोशन और संजय दत्त थे?
Agnipath. That was a good remake as well.
That was a good remake as well. Like that, I
Hmm.
thought I
Yep,
thought that was really well done.
it was
Rishi
very,
Kapoor
very
was
well
very
done.
good in that.
Even that had a twist because there was no Rishi Kapoor character in a way. So I feel like a remake is good when the director and the writer are able to add their own version of the same story, add their own flavor to the same story, add their own like changes to the same story in a way that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. If you're just remaking a movie like exactly how it is, well, there's no point to watch movie apart from obviously for a business point of view, it's just money grab. But like I don't know about Coolie number one, but Jurva, the remake of it, it did some changes, but most of the time it was the same movie,
Yeah,
exact
I
same.
mean, because Coolie, if you actually think about Coolie in India, right?
Hmm.
They can have amazing stories, for example. So, but I understand कि ठीक है तो they were playing on the exactly same. I guess मैंने देखी नहीं है नई वाली कूली, but I'm assuming they played on the same pitch पुराने वाले से. But I mean, they could have added their own twists and turns, but unfortunately वो नहीं करते. I think that's the sad part. They think audience has not evolved. वहाँ पे I have objection. People have to understand audience has, even Indian audience has evolved a lot in past
Mm-hmm.
10-15 years, right? So I
What do
think
you?
Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. They. No. No. Go ahead.
yeah, so I mean, इसलिए I think if they're trying out, and some movies will fail. Not all remakes are going to be successful. There only few of them will work out. But even if they're trying something new, I'm all up for it. But for that, they have to try. It's not like just
What?
पुरानी movies को
What do
touch
you
ही
guys
मत करो.
think? What do you guys think about Pankaj Tripathi as Kohli?
Huh? What?
Like
If
Pankaj
he was
Tripathi in
if
that
he was
role
instead of if see then the movie itself would
instead
be
of
very
Varun
different
Dhawan.
though,
Wait, for
because
Yeah,
which movie?
the script of Coolie is like
Oh,
immediately
Coolie. Okay.
Coolie बनने के 5 minute बाद he becomes the rich boy again,
He
like that.
fakes being a
That's
rich boy or something, right?
yeah,
yeah,
but then he goes into a much more a naturalist, what appeared to be far more natural for him, and then that's why I said I stopped the movie then because I told my wife कि देखो और नहीं हो सकता मुझसे ये, but it because it's essentially there's one thing called suspension of disbelief जो तुम बोलते हो, and then it's like कि okay, I don't want to make fun of their attempt. कोरोना के बीच में पिक्चर दिखा रहे हैं वो बेचारे. But I don't have. There are other things to consume now. There are other options.
exactly.
You're
Yeah,
But
not. You
what
you don't
about your
have to
like
watch through.
impressions of like remakes of in Indian movies? This happened like Drishyam was a remake of another South Indian movie, right? What was the
Yeah, the
South Indian
original
movie?
original Malayalam movie is also called Drishyam, and that was
Drishyam
yeah.
as well.
the thing is a lot of I was actually kind of thinking कि ये जो southern remakes होती है या
Hmm.
northern movie को लेके आप south में लेके आओ, whichever way it is, some one of the things that's lost is the रीजनल लैंग्वेज या ओरिजिनल लैंग्वेज का जो जोक है, जब आप उसे वर्बेटिम लाते हो जैसे, then it loses some of its charm as
Which was a
like
big thing with PR Darshan movies, na? When
yeah,
they
because
were remade.
a lot of his movies were like verbatim translated.
Much.
So like
Yeah.
sometimes the gimmick might work, but the joke itself like may fall flat
Does.
if you are like, but if you're unaware of the original movie, then quite clearly you can watch it through it, like कोई
I
दिक्कत नहीं
think
है.
one more since I have seen both Drishyam, मुझे जुलिया ने original दिखाई, and then I have seen also the Hindi version of it.
I
One
still
thing
have
I
to watch it.
realized is because I think so-called Hindi film industry, right? They unfortunately they have become very polished. So जो भी वो जिस setting में वो दिखाते हैं, very few directors they can pull off that raw feeling. Like अनुराग कश्यप kind, बहुत ही limited directors हैं इसमें. I don't know दृश्यम के कौन directors थे, but because of which I think दृश्यम the Hindi version, it's not a bad movie, not at all. But only thing it became slightly a polished version of the original. So I think वहाँ पे
The
वो थोड़ा सा एक essence
exactly
lose
na?
हो जाता है.
That
I mean, if
story
you
and that story in itself is, and Arnav is ironic
Amazing
enough
story.
because yeah, the story in itself is done by a director who has made a lot more like mainstreamish movies also. It was one of his first projects and वो उसके eventual projects became, but this जब in the northern version it essentially becomes more about कि कितनी ढंग से वो होता है, while in the regional versions when the movie is originally shot, it is about the rawness of that fear
Exactly. Yeah.
of what's
Hmm.
happening कि तुम्हें वो डर हो रहा है
I
when you're in an
watched
uncomfortable situation.
I watched the I can't remember the Tamil version, the actor's name. Kamal
Kamal Hassan.
Kamal Hassan.
Kamal Hassan. Yeah, Kamal Hassan version was very bad. I was very disappointed
Oh, so
with
there's
that
a Drishyam
version.
in Tamil also?
And Telugu as well.
Oh,
The
interesting.
I
Tamil
didn't know that.
version was very disappointing because I
there
think
is a
Kamal Hassan did not do a good job in that role. I don't think he can pull off that role at all.
But he's a
no
good
because
actor, right? Yeah, nahi? मुझे
yeah,
पता नहीं, I haven't seen
obviously
his
One of the
movies.
biggest
no
actors.
he's one of the biggest actors. He's a very good actor. He shows very socially
Mhm.
conscious roles uthate ho. And the thing is, see, but that's the thing, na, right? It's when you make a remake in any language, because people should not think कि जब South की movie North में बनती है, North की movie South की movie South में बनती है, it can change the context completely. South
Yeah.
में one of the केरला में एक movie बनी थी प्रेमम नाम की, which was very much about youthful growth की 3 phases of 3 friends की life, and it was very, तो उसका जब एक तेलुगु वर्जन बना था उसमें इंटरप्रिटेशन इटसेल्फ वाज वेरी डिफरेंट, जहाँ पे
Yeah.
ये इनकी रॉ गुंडा इमोशन पे फोकस कर रहे हैं, इट बिग टर्न्ड इनटू लाइक कि बंदा एक हीरो है. And when I asked an explanation from somebody who knew the language, the explanation was quite simple. In their mind, they are appealing to, they want to take the concept and appeal to their own crowd. But उस interpretation में दिक्कत ये हो जाती है in the remake is that now it turns into something else. This original thing is good because they are showing their direct experience कि यार ये 3 लौंडे हैं, तो अभी देख 3 लौंडे हैं वो ड्रेसअप कर रहे हैं किसी स्कूल शो के लिए 3, और वो दे आर ऑल सेम रहे, और फिर इनकी लड़ाई छिड़ जाती है, and it's a very organic fight. In the other remake version it turns into a 15 minute का hero dialogue explain कर रहा है, hero अपने shirt ऐसे कर रहा है, the other 2 people are not friends but they're more like his lackeys now. Like the interpretation changed and this looks
Yeah.
much more forced is what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
then a remake fails in my opinion, because then बात ही हट गई फिर. Special
Actually, I've
क्या है
got a
फिर?
question. If any remake was to be made, which one would you like to guys like to see if there was a remake that were to be made? Is there any
Oh.
remake that you think I'd like to see this one as a remade?
Good question. सोचना पड़ेगा अब.
I would like to see The
Slowly.
Godfather remade because I think it's a very overrated movie. है ना, Kevin?
So
अभी
I don't
मारेगा.
think you can remake the. I don't think you can remake Godfather because it's for the time. Like like the gangs and stuff are probably operating much different today compared to the
No, but it
1970
can be a
portrayal of it.
kind of a period piece set in somewhere. It can be remade in a way, but
But
I don't know
you're
if it will catch
remaking
that
to
magic.
achieve what? If you're going to
Akash,
remake it for 1972 to 72, what is the point of making
did you
a
watch
remake?
Irishman?
No, man, it's too long. I remember I started it and I was
I
getting
think
bored. in it.
that would be the biggest
I don't
tribute to
think you like the
Godfather.
That would
genre,
be
Akash. I don't think you
no,
like the
like
genre.
Goodfellas. Goodfellas was good. I enjoyed Goodfellas, but
Goodfellas was good. Nice.
yeah, it was really good. Good work, Martin Scorsese. Except for Irishman, I feel it wasn't that great.
Bro,
But
Irishman is such an, see, I like gangster movies, so I absolutely, I like the Godfather movies. I just don't think they are like,
I don't
उस
think they're
level
as good. I
पे.
thought they were good, but I don't think they were
No,
as great
you
as
watch
people
it
think.
for the 1972 time, right? You don't
Yeah,
compare
no,
it
no.
to
I really think they're
because
classics and like everyone should watch them. And I really like the book. I really enjoyed the book
yeah,
as well. But I, मेरे लिए personally, they are not my most favorite gangster
correct.
movies at all. Like I told you, मेरे लिए gangster movies, Indian gangster movies resonate a lot more with me directly. Like when I saw Gangster
Yeah.
Wasseypur theater में.
Because you lived that life, na? You understand their lives.
No, no, no.
No
Sorry,
one
we
has
weren't
lived
supposed
that
to say
life.
this. Sorry, we weren't supposed to say this on
Akash,
No, the
our
dialogue
podcast.
and the
Amrit, you weren't a
Akash,
gangster. Sorry,
no,
Amrit, yes.
Akash,
carry
we
on.
wouldn't have met if I had lived that life.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe
but my
अमृत
point is,
survive ही नहीं कर पाता शायद कॉलेज तक.
definitely उसमें शुरुआत में होता क्या क्या हो चुका होता. But the thing is, जब इंडिया के लेवल पे कोई वो गैंगस्टर मूवीज होती है, I like them a lot more blatantly. Like मुझे रीजनल लैंग्वेज में it has a much more क्रूथ है. कभी क्राइम और पॉलिटिकल मूवी है अगर दिखानी तुम्हें, I would choose any regional language की इंडियन मूवी before. Oh, but that's my preference. Like I said, I really like The Godfather. When I saw it, I liked it. I didn't like 2 or 3 as much as I liked the first one. But uh,
No, first one was
the
definitely the best out of them.
the
Definitely.
remake
Oh,
that
the
I
3
was
is
think of
horrible.
is
He's
the
back.
remake I can think of right now, Akash, in short notice, is because my current favorite movie of last decade or like मेरे all time top
Kabhi
of list
Khushi
में,
Kabhi Gum.
नहीं, thankfully not.
Oh.
But it's Visceral.
Mohabbatein. I knew it. Mohabbatein. You watched it. Amrit, late night, I will never forget you watching Mohabbatein in your room quietly with it.
Just for
My
audience, there was a time जब अमृत was very much into that phase where he enjoyed
हाँ,
मोहब्बतें. Let's put
फिर
it
मे-
like
फिर
that.
फिर मेरी शादी होगी और अब मैं सिर्फ क्राइम थ्रिलर्स देखता हूँ.
Yeah.
So what was the remake,
the,
Amrit? You were saying?
the movie is a South Indian movie जो जिसपे Tamil movie है called Visaranai, which is the investigation or the interrogation. My all time favorite movies में से एक है वो. And उसका I would like to see a Hindi remake. Which very specific actors though, like it has to be either someone like Kashyap or whoever directed Lutera or someone to be the
Vikram
director. And I would want, I can't
Vane,
remember his name, so I
something
don't
like
want to
that.
ruin it.
Vikramaditya Motwani.
And I would want very specifically the roles to be played by people like Pankaj Tripathi, Rajkumar Rao, and Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I was
Mhm.
going to say Irfan Khan, yaar, dil toot gaya.
Yeah,
But I was thinking of the actors that I really like. But I would like those people to make either a Hindi one or क्या कहते हैं, a Malayalam version of it would also I'd like, but us same movie ko, because I want, and why I would say Hindi is because the injustice that can happen to our people, I would want a mainstream audience to see something along those lines. So yeah, I would choose that movie, Visaranai,
Mm.
for a remake.
Kevin, do you have
I was
any?
going to say Exorcist 1973 ka. I think that will be
Which language?
It's English.
no, that's an English movie. It's one of the
Okay, it
most
was a-
profitable
Then
horror
which
movies.
No.
which one would you
Yeah,
want the
but-
remake in?
Do you want it in English again, or would you like it like?
Oh yeah, English
Hindi.
again. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No,
Probably English
I
because
defend Kevin on
I
this.
think
that
Bollywood.
I also
I
didn't
think
understand
Indian.
what Amrit is saying.
The Indian movies, I think the Indian cinema is still not advanced enough for a lot of our tech, a lot of the graphic side of it. So that is why I would prefer, if you're doing a remake of Exorcist, I would prefer it in English itself.
What do you mean we're
बाहुबली नहीं
not
देखी
advanced
क्या?
enough? We
तूने
made
बाहुबली नहीं
Bahubali.
देखी?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
रावण में देखा था अर्जुन रामपाल
Don't you talk
screen से
about
बाहर आता है.
Bahubali? Bahubali
नहीं,
was
नहीं,
so
शाहरुख के
bad
बाहर.
in my opinion.
Oh my god!
Kevin, go
I
back.
hated Bahubali.
तेरा
Just
कुछ
because you
तेरा
look
कोई
like Katappa, you're getting offended.
Fuck off, Akash.
No, but Kevin Bahubali was decent, man. I don't think it was amazing, but it was decent for the effects and all.
I mean, compared to the amount, I mean, the effects are
The
also
hype,
not that
yes,
great.
I
mean,
agree,
really
Kevin. The
bad.
hype, it was very overhyped.
Yeah, it was hyped
But-
way too much.
Exactly, yeah. I remember that they asked some reporter asked Anurag Kashyap. This is when Infinity War came out. He's like, "Why can't you guys make Infinity War in India?" He's like, "Don't be an idiot." Anurag Kashyap said to the reporter something like along the lines. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, "We will never get that budget, first of all, and our movies won't make that much money as well."
Yeah,
Like,
we don't. Yeah, I mean,
so
the
it's
return for it is really less. I
definitely.
mean, to be really honest, you don't need you don't need like a complete. You don't need to make that movie in India, like
No,
that
no.
kind of a movie. You can easily use the facilities
In a
that
way,
are
we have made
available.
our own type of that movie. Bahubali is our own type of that in that type of movie. Like very,
Yeah.
it
And,
is.
and let's be honest, huh?
We
Bahubali
can make a
India
movie.
ki we can make fun of graphics. We can nitpick bunch
Yeah.
of things in Bahubali. No
Story
doubt.
was so bad. Also, I was so bad.
Story
Like,
was
the
basic,
acting was
but it was
the
done
acting
well.
was so
I still agree.
annoyingly boring. Like
It's a fantasy movie. No?
I
So-
think the way that movie has worked out, it's very hard to question it. I mean, we cannot imagine a pan-India movie like that, right? It's very rarely happens. Very, very
the
rarely.
acting was so bad in Bahubali. I'm sorry
But
to
you
say,
like,
but it
what
is.
was that other movie? I thought Thugs of Hindustan would be taking Indian cinema forward in that way. I never watched the movie because I heard it was
Well,
so bad. But-
it definitely took Indian cinema somewhere. I didn't
It
think
took
I'd see an
somewhere.
Amir.
But I thought
didn't see
when I saw the trailer, I was excited. I
Amir
was like, okay,
Khan,
this is
yaar.
good. They're
Who
moving
told
forward.
who told
fantasy
Amir
on.
Khan that he had to be Johnny Depp? I don't know. किसने
Yeah,
बोला था
that
उसको वो करने
in
को?
the trailer, at least it was very weird. They were
You know,
taking inspiration.
movie which I want to, hopefully, as a modern version of it, would be Swades.
But how do you
I think
modernize
that was the
Swadeshi?
modern version of it. What will
Yeah.
be? Is by
I
I was
NASA-
like, how do you
is-
modernize?
Instead of NASA, he's working at Tesla or what? What will be the
Oh,
twist?
yeah,
I
he's
don't
working
know.
at
नहीं,
SpaceX.
more realistic कि वो इतना सब कुछ कर. I think more realistic version would be a.
Yeah, he comes back and the chick doesn't fall in love with him. Is that realistic?
Because he smokes.
That's I forgot. Recently, I found a guy who actually Zoho. पता है Zoho Corporation in India? It's such a brilliant story. He was in Silicon Valley. I think he's $1 billion का उसका net worth and everything. He left everything यहाँ पे. He went back to his village in India, somewhere in south, I believe. and he has been staying वहाँ पे and doing everything for the village, वहाँ के अपने community के लिए. It's such a brilliant story because Zoho is one of the big वो corporations.
Name, Abe, that guy's name was Mohan in the movie. What's Zohar? What are you saying?
Zoho company का नाम है.
Oh,
Zoho
okay.
is not the.
I was like, Mohan,
Amrit,
bhai, are you sure you weren't watching
um,
Swades and made this
Yeah,
story?
Amrit, what
did you
about
Sound
Big B
eerily
versus?
similar in a way.
Amrit, actually, we were pushing. I know you were a big fan of Big B, so Big B versus Four Brothers.
Yeah,
What do you
Four
think?
Brothers. Okay, I like Big B a lot more
Arnab,
personally.
Big
Lot
B is
more.
not
I
Amitabh Bachchan. Don't
Yeah, I
say
was
it.
going to
Okay,
say Big B है
don't say
कौन?
it. I
मेरे को
saw
अमिताभ
Arnab's
बच्चन
face.
पता है.
I saw Arnab's face. I
I
Oh,
was
it's
like,
a
it's not
personally
that.
like.
Malayalam movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Four
it's
Brothers was the original English movie जिसका remake बना था. Now I saw Big B first, and probably I'm biased because of that. But yeah, again, the
but
original cinema का अपना वो allure होता है, तो I don't know what to say in that.
so I
That is
think we are all in agreement that remakes, if there's something special added to them further, instead of being just a one-to-one remake, I think it's better, in our opinion. It's worth
Yeah,
retelling the story.
it needs to have some added value, right?
Yeah,
If
if
it's the
it's
same exact
one-to-one,
copy, then just the
what's the
refresh
point?
करके. Maybe there are some movies. I think Kevin mentioned Godfather. Even though I agree कि इस era में वो same kind of mafia वो सब नहीं होता. But even if they can just do a refresh of that
Modernize.
movie, right? Just for the neo generation. But it
what
would be very
Irishman
hard to
did.
pull.
What
Irishman did
Irishman
that.
did,
I
they
haven't seen
took
that
you.
one.
Yeah, bhai, it's okay. I get कि length बहुत ज़्यादा है लोगों के लिए and people.
Mm.
If you
It's
ever get
slow.
the time,
It's
I watched
slow.
it over. I watched it over 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But for me specifically, it's such an engrossing way to see them try recreate that world. I think it was the last time that I saw in the recent past of somebody recreating, that entire scene के कैसा हुआ करता था. Like it was done very well. Yes, you have to be patient with it. I can any person who says कि भाई कोरोना के टाइम में मैंने देखी थी. I never saw it when it came out. I saw it during COVID. तो उस टाइम पे you could sit aside and apart from the weekend, like go and watch a movie that long. I completely agree अगर तुम्हारे पास time नहीं है. But if you can watch it in parts, it is the closest to a remake of whatever the Godfather was. His original intention was to show that life and show it in a very direct way. How somebody goes from the top to the bottom. What were the issues America was facing and everything. That's done
The
really well.
the
Oh.
de-aging in The Irishman was pretty good. I have to say that. Like the way they de-aged Robert De Niro and all.
De Niro, unbelievable.
It was really good. Surprisingly good. Anyway, let's move on to more current news. So, how many of you guys have invested in stocks for GameStop and all this? AMC, Nokia. No one. No one made any extra money.
None.
Very disappointing.
No.
मैंने 1,000 रुपए का Nokia का phone खरीदा था last month. Does that make उससे कुछ
Why the hell would you buy a
coincidence?
Nokia phone? What's wrong with you?
यार जब मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, I hate both my I hate smartphones around me. तो
He doesn't want distractions, so इसलिए उसने
Yeah.
simple phone buy किया. I assume.
हैं? क्या बात है अमृत? Old soul man. Very, very.
भाई it's the single best thing क्योंकि सिर्फ family के 4 लोगों को number पता है उसमें and but I guess it's bad because when I'm work से लोग बुलाते हैं.
अमृत अगर हमें तुझे कॉल करना हो तो कैसे करेंगे उस टाइम पे इमरजेंसी में?
Yeah, I don't count you people as that relevant. So yeah.
नहीं अगर हमें
Anyways.
इमरजेंसी हो तो.
नहीं, thankfully this time you'll be able to reach them. I think Kevin can still reach me, but yeah.
Does Nokia still make phones?
देखना है, दिखाओ.
Seems like it. He bought
Yeah,
it. So
I've never seen a Nokia phone ever since I don't know how long when I was in high school.
unless this guy bought it from a Chinese market, says Nokia लिखा हुआ है उस पे. वो और किसी कंपनी का फोन है.
But there was one
That's it.
ad I remember. Some Indian phone company was releasing their new phone, and it was like, guys going to buy a phone. He's like, oh, नया वाला phone दिखाओ. He shows a Nokia. नहीं इसको no किया हमने. And then it's like I was like, gee, man,
Such a
it was so.
man.
But yeah.
Amrit, is it 5G enabled?
Oh, just
Nice.
okay. This is a very basic phone. I was going to say, does Nokia make a smartphone?
I think they have smartphones, yeah.
No idea.
I've not
But
seen
the
a
thing about
smartphone.
this is ना जब मैं work desk पे होता हूँ, to answer Arnav's earlier question, like my phone is there, but it's on D&D. तो like तुम 8 या 10 लोग हो
Yes.
जो who'll get through on the favorites list, but it's like a majority of the telemarketers and like after 5 or 6, I don't want to respond to people, randomly जो बुला रहे हैं. And at that peaceful time, it's like I just have this phone on for emergencies next to me, and it has one thing which I absolutely love. It has that radio wala option, and radio में सिर्फ दो channel है. That's what I love. But I one thing I hate as we age is like due to choice you end up not
Options,
deciding on
yeah.
anything. Yeah, इसमें एक channel है, उसमें एक पुराने गाने चलते हैं, and it really takes me back to
Yeah,
school
Amrit has
days.
really become a Buddha, man. I have to he's
Okay.
gone back in time. Really. So I was going to ask more about stocks, guys. If you guys know what's
हंस
going
ले
on,
आकाश, अभी हंस ले, तेरा टाइम आने वाला, टेंशन मत
I was going to
ले.
ask if you guys know about the stocks going on, but I'm guessing no one is caring about that in
Kevin
our
does
group.
trading. Kevin क्या ऊपर गया और क्या नीचे गया, and not based on what you were watching, but like Wall Street के उसमें क्या हुआ.
मेरा सब बैंक अकाउंट नीचे जा रहा है, ऊपर नहीं जा रहा.
Oh, okay. Why are you guys laughing? मैं तो stocks की बात कर रहा हूँ.
Because there was a silence in the middle.
Awkward
Like,
silence.
no one said anything. But anyway, let's quickly move on from stocks. What are you showing, Kevin?
But okay, just to ask, do any of you know Wall Street bets के कांड में हुआ क्या था?
I know the story. Basically, what happened is specifically GameStop, AMC, all these stocks have been performing really, really bad. So people have been betting, the super rich have been betting on them, that these stocks, like in the stock market, you can bet on something performing bad or something performing good, essentially. So these guys, all this rich people bet on these stocks performing bad. So they were making money as these stocks were falling, basically. So what people on Reddit decided to do, they decided to make these stocks go up by putting more money and investing in GameStop and all these companies. So these stocks were driven up. So one time, like for GameStop specifically, their stock was valued at $4. You could buy their stock. Now that one stock is worth $400, $500.
So
So
just to add one more point, it's not कि Reddit के लोगों ने directly they
not
have
Reddit
made the.
exactly.
So what
They made
happens?
the initial
What
push.
जो भी जो hedge funds होते हैं, what they did was they were shorting the stock, right?
Yeah.
Forget about technical details. They were betting on it will go down.
Mhm.
But Reddit के लोगों ने they started buying it. So obviously it moved the stock up. I think that community has some 3 to 5 million people or something like
Yep.
that.
It
And
does.
no one still knows if it's only that community के लोग or actually और भी influential लोग भी buy करते हैं. No one knows about those things. But what happens is then all the hedge funds, they have to limit their losses now since stock is going up. In order to limit the losses now, they have to end up buying those stocks. So now it became a loop. It's called like short squeeze का वो concept, and now they have to buy those stocks. And obviously when they are buying it, that's the one when the price also goes up high because उनका investments काफी significant होते हैं.
Arnav, so what happens to the company in all of this?
Great
The company is
question.
benefiting in
I
a way,
guess,
I think.
but again, it's in a short term, so it has to be seen कि क्या होता है. कि वो actually company, because company is not doing well. Company के fundamentals and everything, they are not
No,
pointing
If
towards
you're
some
if
great.
you're
they're not doing well at all.
Arnav, just to explain to a beginner like me, अगर तेरे $4 पे तेरे stock थे and suddenly assume 500 पे बिक रहे हैं, so this is the meaning that the valuation of your company goes up, right? Does not
Yeah.
mean that the company is randomly getting all this money, right? So they
No.
didn't make any direct profit of this at all, right?
They can, but yeah, on paper the valuation has gone up. So now they have access to money, right? Because when you're buying, so shares in a way, company is selling that share, right, to earn money. So now they have raised money for sure. So
It's a
उनको
trickle down effect, basically.
monetary benefit तो
So your
होता है,
shoulders,
So
but
yeah,
then
that money, yeah, they
so
do
your
have access.
shareholders' equity goes up.
it's not like they're
Essentially.
getting cash. So they can sell
No,
that money, they can sell their stocks, equity and everything, and then they can get that cash or whatever, right? But again, it's
Yeah.
for senior executive also, they cannot like
Having-
just go and sell random.
Because some
Having
people
high
said कि
valuation gives them
after
access to
doing this,
loans, everything like that.
someone said
easier.
कि okay, they get higher line of credit
Yeah, line of credit, everything, all that increases.
But some people said कि now because अच्छा उनकी story भी famous होगी, अभी वो crash हो रहा है वापस, something, I don't know.
It
The
will
value is
eventually
falling.
crash. Everyone is predicting that these companies were performing bad for a reason. It will eventually crash down. But the fact is that these guys have messed with the stock market. That the FBI is looking into it, Parliament is looking into it, and everything. And
So that happened 2
I
days
mean,
back when
today's
all the
trend.
trading platforms, they stopped trading
yeah,
these stocks.
Robinhood
And
specific
people
for
were expecting, because retail investor जो अपने type के investor होते हैं वो सब ये Robinhood ये सब use करते हैं, right? And since they stopped trading it, hedge funds in meantime got the chance, and stock dropped, right? In that time they got the chance to basically exit out, yeah, whatever profit they want to take it out. So in a way it helped the hedge funds. So that's why all these retail investors, they have already sued all these trading platforms to basically they are supposed to help the retail investors, but end of the day they are still helping all the hedge funds who are billionaires printing
because
money.
Robinhood, their main company, has a lot of investment in these companies as well. The Citadel, I think it's called.
Yeah, I remember you told me about Robinhood, na कि कोई भी कर सकता है, like
Yeah, it's very. They've made investing in stocks accessible to everyone. Robinhood.
But again, I mean, it's very much media जो hype कर रहा है. End of the day, it's not Robinhood who decides कि Robinhood still has, because there's another system, clearing system, who actually clears all these transactions in terms of stocks. Those are different companies. So एक Apex नाम से who are the one of the big ones. Then Robinhood has their own clearing system. So यहाँ पे Robinhood को directly blame मिलता है because they handle their own clearing system. But other trading platforms also blocked it because of the underlying clearance system जो भी use करते हैं. So it's hard to blame Robinhood directly.
But Arnav, that means Robinhood ने अपने आप decide किया. There was no like governmental pressure or anything on
No,
them.
they decided themselves.
No, it's based on the volatility and volume जो उनके system. So it's not like very straight. Lots of people blame them कि they got some calls from hedge funds, they got some call from the investors to stop it. But they have clarified it, and obviously who knows what happened exactly. That वो तो investigation के बाद ही पता लगेगा. But doesn't seem like anyone was involved in this. This was more of a media hype. But they did stop it, and they have explained. They recently posted an article if anyone is interested in why do they have to stop this trading for these particular set of stocks.
I would love to read that. अगर तेरे पास link है मुझे भेजिए.
Yep.
Because I absolutely understand nothing about stocks except what Kevin does, like up and down thing.
Even I have no idea.
I don't know.
Honestly,
Stocks
if people
is very
are जो भी अपने
complicated in
listeners
general.
हैं, if they want to know, it's a very very complex thing what has happened. So I would say
Yeah.
go and read about it. Don't go by what
Yeah,
we have
because
talked right now.
you know the weird thing is when I didn't know about the stock part of it at all. I discovered this on Reddit because that's where I'm frequently. तो Wall Street वाला जो वो Wall Street bets वाला जो जगह है वहाँ पे they were talking about what are we going to do next, क्या होने वाला है. And I was like करा क्या है तुमने मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा तुमने करा क्या है. Like I'm happy देखो कि like immediately it's like oh they fooled the system को उन्होंने सिखा दिया. Very nice.
Yeah.
But what did you do? मुझे वो वाला part समझ नहीं आ रहा
They
था.
basically manipulated the stock market. That's what they're
And then they
saying.
said कि कुछ 13-15 बिलियन डॉलर का कोई hedge fund का कुछ मस्त तरीके से कट गया and like they had to stop or something.
Yeah,
And
in
that
terms of
makes
loss,
people
hedge
happy.
funds took a big loss this time because of retail. Usually hedge funds take loss. उनके आपस की fights होती हैं. That's why they take loss, which is very common. But for the first time, seems like retail, at least in recent war era, first time retail investors managed to cause some damage to the hedge funds, which never happens. So that's why it's in a way big deal. But
Big deal.
long run, who knows क्या होने वाला है retail investors के साथ.
Because do you think law will come in that will stop stuff like that?
So lots of people are pushing it because the concept is short ka. In a way, you don't own that stock. You're just playing around with the stock on paper, right? So it's like saying ki, I think Elon Musk tweeted ki you don't have a house, but you're able to sell it or you're able to buy it,
No.
but you don't own the house.
He tweeted get shorty. That's what I saw. Get shorty.
So lots of people are against this concept because technically you're not owning it, you're manipulating the market. So not a lot of people are not a fan of this whole concept of shorting a stock.
Achha,
but
Akash,
who knows kya
sorry,
hoga.
Arnav, can you just okay in a brief way explain for a 5-year-old dummy if you had to what exactly what do they mean by you're shorting? Like are you buying a stock and just assuming that it's going to go down, or you have prior information that it's going down and then
So you have
resell कर रहे हो बाद में?
मुझे भी 100% नहीं है, but from what basic knowledge I have is कि they are assuming it कि it's going to go down, so they are placing some bets on it कि it will go down, right? And so उसमें only the point which is कि what happens if it goes up, for example. So I think if it goes up, they still have, in a way they're saying कि if it goes down, we will either buy that stock or something like that. So they are committing it to it that it will go down and then we buy it. ऐसा जहाँ तक मुझे समझ में आता है. But when it goes up now.
So they're not actually buying it in the present. वो उसके future पे कुछ वो डाल रहे bet. Is that what you're saying?
They're
exactly.
betting on the future outcome of that.
Based on whatever information they have, they're placing a bet on the future outcome. उसकी टेक्निकल डिटेल्स मुझे पता नहीं है कि हाउ इट, क्योंकि आई हैव नेवर डन इट, सो आई हैव नो आइडिया, बट दैट्स व्हाट इट्स अ फ्यूचर में, तो उनका प्रेडिक्शन है कि इट विल गो डाउन ऑन इन अ सर्टेन ड्यूरेशन. देयर इज आल्सो टाइमलाइन टू इट. Only one of the problems from what I understand, the losses are unlimited in if you short a stock. That's the problem. That's why then it becomes a complicated thing. They have to end up buying the stock to reduce the losses then. ऐसा कुछ है
Which
उसमें.
is what's been happening to all
Which is what's
these
been happening. Yeah.
people. Yeah, especially like there was uh, interview on Bloomsburg, whatever it's called, Bloomberg or something like that.
Bloomberg, most likely.
Yeah, Bloomberg. This like this guy's a billionaire or millionaire or something like that. He was like complaining, "How can this happen? We are losing money everywhere," and everyone's just laughing. Hey, dude, you're a billionaire, millionaire. You're losing money. We've all lost money in coronavirus, while you guys knew some that apparently insider trading. Some people have been accused as well when the coronavirus hit because they withdrew all their money from the stocks before coronavirus came full into effect. So there's a lot of
भाई वो ऑक्सफैम वाली रिपोर्ट देखकर ही तुम डिप्रेस हो
yeah,
जाओगे. बट दैट्स
that
व्हाई आई गेस
Oxfam
एज
exactly.
रोहित शर्मा ने भी एड में बोला था कि सिर्फ म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट करा करो.
Yeah, I mean
That's
it's a
that's
very
what
very
that's what
speculative and
Yeah,
risky
it is.
trading. Yeah.
that's what people like me are going to do.
It's gambling. It's
I
gambling
don't even
essentially.
like
Legal
I got
gambling.
it. I
Yeah.
to an extent I understand what you said, but to on a daily basis be invested in it. No, I'm much more happier with the long term mutual fund investment thing because I don't have to think and they do something on their own.
Yeah, because इसमें क्या होता है, for Amrit is buying, so he's in a way borrowing some shares and predicting कि, and it has an expiry date to it when they short it, right? And in future they're saying कि they will basically buy those shares at that lower price. And if it goes down, then they buy it and then they sell it to different whoever wants to buy that at whatever market price. So and then they can earn profit that way. But इसमें problem क्या है? If that share starts going up, then they have to
You're
reduce it.
losing
So
money.
yeah, so they
Yeah,
keep
So you
losing
have to
money. So
keep.
they have to buy it then.
Yeah, you
this
have to
seems
buy it
like
That's
the
what
out
kind of
happens.
completely.
stuff you do on a video game. तुम मजे मार रहे हो क्या? ऐसा
It
लगता है.
no, that's essentially it's you played this stuff
I
on video games because that's what
No,
the stock
what he
market
just said.
is.
No, I'm reacting to what he just said in the end. कि तुम assume कर रहे हो और उसके बाद फिर तुम बोल रहे हो कि कम होगा, कम होने क्या तुम आगे किसी को छोड़ोगे. I feel like I've
It's
done
not
that
an
on a video game.
assumption. It's assumption नहीं कर रहे हो, मतलब उनके trends और उनके
It's yeah, educated
data
prediction.
study के
It's
basis
supposed to
पे
be.
No.
वो
I'm like,
predict कर रहे हैं.
okay. Educated guesses also. Like even that feels like but as you guys said, they're playing with real money.
It's
And
gambling. It's like it's
it is pure
essentially the same
gambling.
logic as logic. I meant I said logic as going to a casino and betting on a hand of your like getting a royal flush or something in poker, betting on that hand.
Only thing is these guys have access to bunch of data which
Wait,
normal people
Yeah,
don't have.
अर्नव ये तेरी वो स्कैम 1992 वाली चीज में भी वही हो रहा था ना. मैंने सेकंड एपिसोड में कुछ पहुंचा उसके. I was watching
Scam
BBC.
1992, no, I think it's not. उसमें ऐसा yeah, it is also market
No.
manipulation. Yeah.
No, not his exact scam. I'm talking about like the way they were playing with it. Eventually, it seemed
Playing
like
with
वो
it, yeah.
मजे मार रहे थे वो.
But ये system is part of the it's a legal thing what they're doing right now, and it's not only hedge funds. Even you can short it. You don't have to be a hedge fund to short a stock. You can go and short it. So it's not a. But obviously उनके numbers ज़्यादा होते हैं.
I think अर्नव केविन कह रहा है खत्म करने को तो खत्म कर देते हैं.
I was going to bring on one topic, but I didn't expect this topic to go on as long as it did. But we'll save that for
Yeah.
the next episode. Yes,
Thank
Kevin.
you, Akash.
Should we talk a bit more just to fill out the time, Rosa? Kevin,
Akash, you'll only have to sit and edit all this
I'll have
crap
to
out.
edit all this.
Highlight is कि Kevin कटप्पा जैसा दिखता है. That's the highlight of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Fuck off,
Just
Akash.
kind of-
और कुछ काम का हुआ नहीं है और कुछ
Yeah.
काम की बात करेंगे.
Such way, na?
So just for our listeners, you can visualize Kevin कैसा दिखता है if you haven't seen our Instagram post.
That's it for this episode of the Vele podcast, guys. Thanks for listening. We are available, as you know, or hopefully know by now, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube. Give us a follow at Vele Pod on Instagram as well.
Give us a follow. इसलिए कोई नहीं
Until the
करता.
next episode, bye. Take care.